Can you hear me? Let me get that link for Chris. Let's see here. Oh, I want to make sure I'm not streaming. Okay, I'm not. So, well, he hasn't shown up. So I was telling Mod in the chat, we had a bit of a miscommunication. I told Chris that I was in Central Time Zone and he said, okay, well, I'll be, let's do the stream at 9 o'clock my time, 9 o'clock your time, 11 o'clock my time. I was like, okay, that sounds great. And then I got to thinking this afternoon, well, 9 o'clock my time, if that's 11 o'clock his time, that would actually put him in the Atlantic Ocean, and I don't think he lives in the Atlantic Ocean. So he's probably mistaken about how far off we are. He's probably going to try to show up in an hour, but I can't stream. I can't start a stream in an hour. I was planning on doing this for an hour, maybe an hour and a half. So, oh well. I guess that's what it is. Do you want to come on, Mod? Since I don't have anything going on. If not, I'll just keep my sure, that'd be great. Keep doing my sculpting and I'll give him a few minutes just to make sure he doesn't show up. Or if give Mod a chance to come on if she wants to. That's okay, Mod. Thanks. I actually didn't do this one from scratch. This one I got. There's this program called Genie, and what they do is they use you. It's kind of like those AI art generators. You put in a prompt and it generates a 3D model for you. And so I use that to begin with, and then took it from there. I think that's oh, that's not what I want to do. I think that's probably going to be how this will be used in the future. AI, I mean, is it's not like perfect, but it does get you a nice starting point. Uh, but not when you could use in production. It gives you something to start with for sculpting. No, Mark didn't contact me. I just wanted to ask him about. I had this idea about drones, and he talked about maybe making some that he sold, and I was just curious what it would uh what that would cost if he made a drone for me and shipped it to me. It's probably not something I would end up doing, but I was just curious what he would charge for that. Yeah, I mean, aliens are fun, but I don't I don't really think we're actually being visited by aliens. The Not that I don't think aliens are out there, I just don't think the feasibility of visiting different planets in person is something that will ever be a thing, and um I don't think other aliens would ever uh, uh overcome those problem issues as well. At least there's no indication that's even possible. Interdimensional, huh? Huh. I don't know. I don't. Yeah, I don't even know what interdimensional means really. Like from a like I don't know if something were interdimensional. I don't know how you would describe that. Oh, hey, there's Wildman Chris. Hey, Chris, you there?
Yes, let me get my shirt on. I thought 9 Central was 11 that time. I kept my pass just in case. So you give me a second. Let me put my shirt on.
Sure thing.
Yes, I'm trying. And let me put on the video off. Okay.
You want me to put you backstage for a second?
Yeah. Okay, I'm back. Okay. Let me turn this video off so I can hear. And you can hear me without hearing all this dripping. There. I shut my video. I'm here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for being willing to do this.
You're welcome.
I know you were like wanting to do it on my channel for lots of views, but I don't get many views. I don't promote my channel or anything.
You
and I'm
probably
pretty
get more than I do.
I doubt it. I think the most okay, I take it back. One video I've gotten, actually, I know you've gotten more views because I've seen some that have, 2,000 to 3,000 views. But one video I've gotten has gotten 100 views, but that's because I was riding my bike with a girl who's riding her bike around the world for the world record.
Oh, okay.
And people were looking for her and happened upon my video.
Okay.
But anyway, so and I see that you like to ride bikes too.
Oh yeah. The only problem is I keep getting so many fucking. You don't mind if I cuss you?
Whatever. I mean, I
get so I try to keep the tone down. I try.
Yeah.
I get so many blankety blank flats. I mean, makes me so angry.
Oh sure. Have you ever?
The thing is, even if I could get a car in America today with this shitty economy, you got to be rich to have a car today. You got to be rich. You got insurance. You got gas prices. The despicable gas prices. And my question is, I heard in Germany, during Nazi Germany, they were able to run a car off on water. So if these scientists could find a metal that could withstand extreme heat, they could take electrolysis to have engines that separate the water and the oxygen and the hydrogen, and you could have a source of fuel that costs basically nothing.
Nah, I don't think that sounds like something that someone made up just to.
But where is that scientific spirit? All these, where's the scientific entrepreneurial spirit that sparked all the inventions we came up with in 1900s? That's still, the possibilities are endless. Why don't I wish some of the if I was smart enough, I'd do it, but I don't have the resources. We could make this world a better place if we brought back that scientific entrepreneurial spirit.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's still there. It's just it's pretty complicated. But yeah, I like to ride bikes. I do that every day. Not to get around, just to have fun. But yeah. So wanted to talk to you about your video that if there is no God, why should I be moral?
Okay.
Yeah, do you want to kind of talk about why you wouldn't be moral?
Yeah. I want to do right. I don't want to be a loser. By loser, I don't want to be somebody who screws over other people over, even if they don't know, because I can't understand why. I can't explain why, but I want to be a good, honest person, and and do right by people, because it feels good to make other people happy. It makes me happy, but I'm talking about people who are my enemies, my enemies who are like big business. If there's no God, even when I believed in God and still believe in God, I've stolen 7 bicycles from a Walmart back in 2007 because someone would steal my bike. I'd call the cops and they could never find my bike. The rage was just built up inside me. I said, I screwed this. So every time I give the bike still something from me, I say, God, this is what I think about you not keeping my bike from getting stolen. I'm going to steal a bike. But
Okay.
never from individual people. Never, ever, 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 unless that person utterly hates me.
So, what makes it okay to steal a bike from someone who hates you?
If it feels good to me, and that's good enough for me. I know that's selfish, but somebody hates me. Somebody wants to tear me down. As far as I know, he'd do it to me. So why not do it to him first?
Okay.
And if there is no God, what that then I could do it without having to worry about asking to God for it.
Okay. So you think so let me just put it in your own or in my words so I can make sure I understand what you're saying. Um if there if someone you think someone will would steal from you, you want to steal from them first.
No, that's just an excuse I used when I do it to somebody I know hates me. Somebody when I walk by, he laughs at me. He calls me a retard. Somebody, I ask him a question. He's like, "What do you expect, you son of you retard? Why should I answer your question, you retard? Go get it. Go look it up in an encyclopedia. Something like that." Some because they're ripping through my self-esteem, which my self-esteem sucks anyways, and I call myself a social media loser, and but when I can if I can one up him, that makes me feel good about myself, and it may be an illusion, but it sure feels good.
It makes you feel good when you steal from someone. Is that what you're saying?
If I one up them,
If you one up them,
yeah,
okay. And how do you one up them?
be better than them. If I need a bike and they're making fun of me for somebody stealing my bike, I'm like, okay, laugh all you want. I'm a laugh in silence when you can't see me when I take your bike, you son of a.
Okay. So just could it be that like if you didn't steal the bike from them, um, maybe they wouldn't treat you like that?
Oh no! The reason I'm doing it in the first place because he has demonstrated constantly in his interactions with me that he thinks so lowly of me that he can call me a retard, and after he is not, I won't do it to him before he does it. It's after he's done it to me. Because I know you don't believe in the Bible, but it's like this: hope deferred maketh the heart sick. I have hopes and dreams, but every time I try to think I'm gonna get a prospect, I get a door slamming in my face, and just the thought of another door slamming in my face fills me with rage.
Sure.
I've had so many damn doors slammed in my face. I'm quite frankly, I'm fed up with it.
Sure. Can you give me an example of a door that's been slammed in your face so I know what you're talking about?
Yeah. Forgive me if my memory is slow. I had a stroke. That's a door, but I got these songs. I got these songs I wrote. Door slamming because I'm not a good looking guy. No record company wants to take me on because in these days it don't matter how much talent you got. If you're not good looking, they don't want you. Just give me some words. Something will come to my mind. That's the best way to get me to remember something that happened. Is certain words jar memories about. Kid, here's one. My childhood home. I moved out of my childhood home in 1995. I had a trail when I was a child. I used to go to the woods. I always wanted to know where these woods ended as a child. But when my grandma passed away in 1994, I was there in those woods, looking at those woods, and I got my bush axe. And I started chopping the trail, I felt like a whole new world was opening up to me. I finally got to the end. My hope and my dream was one day to make it, somehow get the money, make it as a fast forward to 1999, 2000. I wanted to make the money because my Aunt Dee, she had to move out of my childhood home. She moved in after I moved out in 1995, but the neighborhood people were vandalizing her stuff, and she done moved out. My dream, I would rather live in my childhood home than imagine the Beverly Hills. But if you have offered me, Chris, I'll buy you your childhood home, or I'll buy you 2 mansions in Beverly Hills, I'm like, screw the Beverly Hills mansions. I want my childhood home, and I was hoping to make the money to buy them and buy the woods, but some loggers came and logged up the woods. Someone else came and moved in my childhood home. They cut down my tree that I planted as a kid with my next door neighbor. Such good memories with my family. They cut down that plum tree. That plum tree meant so much to me. And now, even if I get my childhood home back, it's just not the same.
Okay. So,
and that's just one.
Sure, that's just one. So the door that slammed in your face in that case is that you lost your childhood home, and your kind of the memories are the things that were tied to your memories are no longer there. Is that kind of what you're saying?
Yep. Back then when I lived at that childhood home, I knew I was living the best. I knew if he were to ask me, Christoph, when are the good old days? I'm like, right now. These are the good old days. I have all my family living around me, all 4 grandparents, a boatload of aunts, uncles, and cousins. And we did things together. My cousins would come home and we'd play the Nintendo. We'd play Street Fighter 2. And we spend the night. We worked together at Pizza Hut. And at Pizza Hut, it was more like a family at Pizza Hut. All those employees. Sometimes the manager on the Sunday night after getting off work, he'd bring his Super Nintendo and he set it up in the dining room. And after closing, we'd all play together Street Fighter. And every Friday he'd let me eat a free small pizza, pepperoni pizza.
Oh, that sounds nice.
My childhood, I got Asperger's, so one flaw of Asperger's people is they're behind socially. That they don't catch social skills. They're behind. And my childhood, I still had the mind of a child when I was 20 years old. But now, what jolted me from my childhood was 23 when I was watching the documentary on near-death experiences, and I saw where they could duplicate an out-of-body experience in the laboratory by stimulating the brain, and that really shook me because I've had terrible death anxiety. My greatest fear is that death is the end. This is how I strongly feel. I'll use this time purpose. I had rather burn in the lake of fire forever and be conscious than lose my consciousness when I die. At least I'm so conscious. That's how terrified. I'm utterly terrified of dying. Death being the end, and it's affecting my ability to sleep. When I was in the 7th grade, I'd lie in bed terrified because the unconsciousness of sleep was this foretaste of final oblivion and death. But because my body was young, my need for sleep was able to overcome my death anxiety, and I could get a full night's sleep. Now, if I did not take trazodone, you could offer me $1 million. I cannot go to sleep without trazodone. I cannot do it. I can't do it. Hell will freeze over before I can sleep at night without trazodone. Hell will freeze over.
Okay.
I'm angry at God for this. I'm angry at God. And that's why that's one of the reasons in so many videos you'll hear me curse God, because where's this God? Where the hell? God, I'm praying, you saying that's a prayer. Why are you not curing my insomnia?
Sure. Yeah. That can be pretty frustrating.
And I forgot what I was going to say, but I take 7 prescription medicines. I'm angry at that because I got high blood pressure. Okay, I got high blood pressure. I got acid reflux, and I'm asking this, God, they can clone the goddamn sheep. They cannot cure my acid reflux, so I don't have to take this damn medication for the rest of my life. What if come I don't know your political point. What if somebody gets in the president's office and I lose my Medicaid and I have to steal to be able to reform my medication because if I don't I take my medicine, I'm good as dead. I'm literally as good as dead if I do not take my blood pressure medication, my stroke medication, my atorvastatin, my trazodone to sleep, my acid reflux, and if I lose my hair, I don't want to live. And I take finasteride because I'd rather push a shovel from one end of hell back and forth for all eternity with a head full of hair than to go to heaven with thin hair. That's hyperbole. I don't really mean that, but I'm using that to drive home a point.
Sure. So what kind of so I've seen some of your videos and like I've seen you riding down like the street. Like I think you said the power was out because of a hurricane. And like
Yes.
everyone was like greeting you and saying, "Hey, Chris," or I don't think say Chris, but they were all greeting you,
Yes.
and you were. I mean, it seems like you had a lot of friends out there.
Yeah, I guess so. That a lot of people like me because a lot of I can go into the hood and they especially in the past they'd want to rap for me because they'd seen my YouTube videos. I'm known my town for my YouTube
Oh,
videos.
okay. So they know you from your YouTube.
Yeah, and they know me as the rapper. And they know me as the rapper.
Yeah.
And I was able to do it, but now since my stroke, I can still rap, but it's more of a chore than my ability to do it. My goal is to get stem cells one day and to get my mojo back, get it so I don't feel constantly like I'm semi drunk. I'm sick and tired of people asking me, "Are you drunk?" Because my speech slurs. I can't help it. Blame it on that damn stroke. Thanksgiving Day, 2013, 2 p.m.
Wow, 11 years, huh? Almost coming
Yeah,
up.
and that seeing the road pass behind me in that ambulance, it's like watching my life and my dreams go down the toilet. That was the most scary thing. Being able to speak, all I could think about was, "Hey, where I be getting." I got a video of myself after the stroke. A video after the stroke.
Okay.
Have you seen it yet? For
I've seen about 6 or 7 of your videos. I haven't gone that far back though. I haven't gone 11 years back yet.
and I'm sitting on my bed with my shirt off, looking as pudgy as shit, pudgy and fat as shit. I want to get some not life, but I want to get cool sculpting with stem cells. I'm hoping they can rev my metabolism up again because a middle age spread unacceptable. I will not take this. I will take whatever medication to be thin. I'm not accepting. I'd rather die of cancer in 10 years and live to that date being section thin than live to be 100 being pudgy or porky. I make that.
Okay.
I'll make one ugly overweight man. Ugly.
Okay. So what's your like your do you have a like family that you're living with or you
Yes,
have
I live with my
interaction?
mom and my dad and my mom's sister, my Aunt Dee.
Okay. Well, that's good. It's good that you have some people in your life to help out
Yes.
with whatever's going on.
Yeah.
What's your work situation? Do you have a job?
I get SSI and disability and Medicaid, Medicare, food stamps. Yeah, I'm an outstanding citizen. Not.
Oh no. Hey man, like it, those things are there for people who are
Yeah.
in need of them, and it sounds like
I know.
you've had some
Yeah.
pretty serious issues. So
And
like I
I wish I could make it with my songs. I so wish I that's my dream to make I money can't buy you happiness unless you got something that makes you happy already. And with me, that saying money can't buy you happiness makes me spit on the ground, because I know if I had $2 million back in the year 2000, I'd be a totally unspeakably happy person today. I'd have my childhood home, I have bought this wood before they could have logged them out and tore out that old country church. I made my trail all the way from my old neighborhood. The trail is longer than a mile long and yay wide in the woods. I did it all by myself. It came out in an old Negro church, and I was proud of that accomplishment. I was so proud. But they tore down the church, they logged the path, and I cursed before y'all. I cursed the Department of North Carolina Motor Vehicles for doing this. I cursed the Global Transfer Park, and I cursed whatever the state of North Carolina for this. I call upon whatever spiritual powers to curse them for my loss of my church. Like I cursed them.
Okay. So let's circle back to why, if there is no God, you might still want to be moral. One thing you said was let me see if I can find it again. Oh, let's see.
I have that part of me that wants to be. I want to be a good person, but I just don't want to overdo it. In other words, if I got an enemy, I'm not going to be good to my enemy just for some principle's sake. I'd much rather my enemy to come to my side and me and my enemy love each other than I had the exact vengeance upon them. I'd much rather have that. But balls in his court, I'm willing to forgive.
Right, but so that's a good point. You would rather them be your friend than your enemy.
Hell yeah.
So that seems like a good reason to be moral. Because if you're not moral towards this person that is kind of mean to you or whatever, do you think that's going to make them more or less likely to be mean to you?
But the reason I do it because I see no hope. That you take away, I see no hope of him ever changing, and that the Pandora's box and all those evil things were let out of the world. The last thing that came out of the box was hope. And if you take away hope deferred, making the heart sick. If you take away a person's hope, you take away his will to live, basically.
Well, sure. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you have to have hope.
You don't see no light at the end of the tunnel. You don't want to continue on.
That's true. But I mean, as long as you're living and they're living, there's still hope that they'll become your friends, right? I mean, it's still possible.
Yeah, but is it probable? You do the math, and you said, is it probable that one day that a miracle is going to happen? This person's going to become my friend. Nah, miracles happen, but they never happen to me. So I'm just gonna do it.
Okay.
I get so sick and tired of hearing people talking about the miracles happen to them, and when it comes around to me, the miracle train runs out of miracles.
Well, I mean, I'll be honest. I've never had a miracle happen to me either, so I kind of can sympathize with that sentiment.
Yeah, I've had what I thought were miracles, but you never can be sure that you're not misreading it.
Sure. Can you tell me about one of those that you thought might have been a miracle at one point?
This was going to be silly. I'll tell you one and two, but when I was 6 years old, I had a plum tree in the backyard. Well, the tall part of the plum tree had been broken, and it was bending over. And I was not happy about this, so I prayed, Lord, please fix this plum tree. I took the stem, put it back, I lifted that back up in place. I came out a few days later, shook the stem, expecting it to fall over, and it didn't fall over.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and that and another thing. This is not okay. One time, I was at the movie. When I got saved, I asked Jesus to save me. I used to have horrible doubts that I was going to go to hell. I used to that. Oh God, how did I know that I'm saying that I'm not going to go to hell? I'm going to go to heaven. Back in November 4th, 1990. I'm getting ahead of myself. The Saturday, the week before November 1990, I lost my keys at the Pizza Hut. I worked at the Pizza Hut. So I was looking all around and I was asking, has anybody seen my keys? And one of the waitresses, Donna, said, Chris, have you ever taken into consideration that the reason something bad happened to you was because maybe did something bad? I'm like, no, that's you never read the book of Job. Job did nothing wrong and bad things happened to him. So I was really offended by that. But anyways, I could not find the keys. It was midnight. So I figured, what can I do? I can call my preacher and get him to pray with me because he was a real godly man. So I called him up at 12 midnight to Pizza Hut, and he was loving. He prayed with me, and about 15 minutes later, I was sitting down in one of the booths. I looked up, and there, I don't know how in the world they got there, but my keys were sitting unmolested by the cash register. So I was shook. So I'm like, thank you, Lord. And so a week later, I asked Lord, please declare me righteous by Jesus' death and sinlessness on the cross. So I felt like I had been saved, but I was still doubting. So I said a prayer within myself. Nobody could hear me. Lord, I'm going to go to that altar. If you answer the prayer that I prayed, or would have answered it, but didn't because I had already been saved. When I go up to the altar, please send either my grandpa or Aunt Dee up to pray with me. So I went up to the altar. As soon as the invitation began to be sung, the pastor's kid came down to pray with me. I don't know what it is you're praying for, but I love you and I want to know. So he prayed with me, went up and extended the service one more verse. I'm like, Lord, thanks for the pastor, but that was not at Didio Grandpa. So when he extended the one more verse, I felt Aunt Didi's hands gently slipping into mine, asking if she could pray with me.
Well, that sounds nice.
And she later in the park, she told me, "Mom, I felt really strongly impressed by the Spirit to go up and pray with him." And she was shy. She normally didn't do. She normally did not do that stuff like this.
Sure. What kind of church was it?
Original Free Will Baptist Church.
Oh, Free Will Baptist. Okay.
Yeah. And then this one time I was 4 years old. My brother had just been born. I was lying in bed one night. Did you ever wake up in the middle of night as a child when it was 2 or 3 in the morning and had to fall back asleep? Did you ever do that?
Oh, sure.
I did that a few times, and I was scared of the dark by then. When I went to bed, I made Mom leave the whole light on, and of course, when I fell asleep, all the lights went off. Well, I woke up, it was pitch dark. For some reason, I was not scared. I was actually finding it kind of pleasant. And there's 2 beds in the room. I was on this bed. You see that bed right there?
Uh-huh.
It was over there against the wall there, but my bed was on this side. And I was looking at the bed, and this white clover-shaped thing came up from ghost. It was pure white, almost ghostly, but it started hovering in the air, came up from the side behind the bed, started coming towards me. I instinctively knew if I clapped my hands, it would disappear. And it disappeared. But I was so worried about seeing that again for a long time afterwards.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that does sound pretty scary. When you see something in the dark and you have no idea what it is. Yeah.
So today, to this day, what the hell was it? Was it something in my brain? Was I half out? Because I was awake when I saw it. It was not a dream.
Sure. Yeah, I woke up once. So when I was a kid, me and my brother, we had bunk beds, and I slept on the top bunk. And one night, I woke up right after I'd fallen off the top bunk and was laying on the floor. And I said, well, I'm on the floor now. I'm just going to go back to sleep. So I just slept, and my mom came in the next morning and was just like, what are you doing on the floor? And I said, I fell off the bed. That really freaked her out.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't like sleeping on the top of my bunk myself either because
Yeah, yeah. So a few years later, we went to a church camp, and they were small, like single size bunk beds. All the beds were, and
Mhm.
I got on the top one, and I stayed up all night that night because I was afraid I'd fall off that bunk bed, and that floor was concrete. I was worried I'd fall off the bed and break something on the concrete floor there.
Hmm.
So I didn't sleep that night at all. That's one of those times that I couldn't sleep. So
I tell you what, try going a night without sleep, you're shot the next day.
I don't really remember being that tired the next day, but
But when you're
I
young,
was.
when you're really young, I guess you can pull it off.
Yeah, yeah, you can do it much better when you're young. These days, I have to sleep. I have to get a few hours of sleep at night at least, or I'm just dragging all day the next day.
And I think one of the reasons another reason for my bad sleep, is because my back is maladjusted. Because I can get into why I think after this, but my back I walk with a limp. And I think I've noticed I deduced this whenever I used to have a stomach virus and right before I was throwing up, I could fall asleep. But as soon as I threw up, I would not be tired. So your body is interconnected, and I think my my spine or my nerves are so damaged in such a way that it affects my sleep. And I think if we could ever get it so I can walk straight again, here's how I walk. If we could get my
Oh wow,
if we could get myself, I think it would the result would be all. I think I'd be a new person.
sure. So, you say stem cells will fix it?
Now I'm hoping so because they put a device on me one time for a test, and I could walk straight again. But the thing is, Medicaid doesn't cover the device. It takes money. This takes the one thing I need to complete my happiness: money. I need money, lots of it.
Sure. Huh.
Money
Surprised
can't
Medicaid.
buy you happiness, but with that money, I will never be completely happy. Yes, happy, but not completely happy because money can only buy you happiness if you got something that makes you happy already, and the money can supplement it.
Sure, sure, that makes sense. So, so your bike that got stolen, do you have an? Are you how close are you to getting another bike?
Well, somebody bought me a new bike the other day.
Oh, that's nice.
About it has a bad ending. I was riding it yesterday, and the damn back tire went flat.
Oh, okay.
My
Uh,
dad thinks it's because I weigh so much that I'm getting all these flats. That really makes me angry at God because I'd give 10 years off of my life to lose this weight and keep it off.
sure. So, how often do you check the tire pressure? Because I mean, I'm a pretty much a bike enthusiast, and I know a lot about bikes.
Every time before I ride, I squeeze the tire, and if it's solid,
Okay. Um. So one thing, let's see if I can look it up. But there's one thing that happens with bikes and flat tires is if you go over a bump and your tire pressure is too low, and just
uh,
squeezing it can't really tell you, especially if you're because I'm a heavier guy too. I have to have my tire pressure pretty high. But if you go over a bump with a low tire pressure, it'll actually pinch the tube between your wheel and your tire and put a hole in your tube because of that.
hmm.
And so you have to have your tire pressure high enough. And there's a calculator you can use that where you put in your weight and the size of the tire and what the condition of the roads you're going to ride in, and
Yeah.
it will tell you what pressure your tires should be.
So
Uh,
when
uh,
what happens again? It pinches the tire. It pinches the inner tube between the.
between the rim, the metal part of the rim, Like the tire will flatten and pinch the tube between the rim and
Oh
the
yeah,
tire itself.
okay.
And
Yeah,
that'll put a hole in.
I get it.
Yeah, and that'll put a hole in it. But if you keep your tire pressures high enough, that shouldn't be a problem. Let me see if I can
Okay.
look that. Let's see.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I love bikes. I ride, like I said, I ride one every day.
I like the tire to be rock hard, solid. If it says 45 pounds per square inch, I want 45 to 50.
Sure. Um. Okay. 45 to 50.
Yeah.
What size tires are they? Do you know?
12. I think 12 by 2.175. I think.
2.1s. Okay. And it's 12. You said.
Yes, I think 12, 11, something like that.
Okay. So
I think it's 12.
okay, 2.1 tires, 40 to 50 is pretty high, but like um when I ride 2.1 tires, I'll probably put it up maybe to 60.
Wow.
Yeah, well, I mean, because
I'm afraid of busting them. I'm afraid of the tire exploding.
well, what's the rating on the tire? Does it say?
Uh, 45 pounds per square inch.
That's the max or the low end? Because it'll have a range. They'll say not to exceed and not to have it
No,
lower than
mine just says 45 pounds per square inch.
Huh. Okay. Well, there's that I wouldn't know what to do with that then. Let me see. Let me see. Are the roads that you have, are they good or
Average.
worn? Average?
Average.
Okay. Let's see. And you said they were doing it by, let's see. Let me do 2.1 to millimeters because they're doing it in millimeters. 53. Another thing you can do, although this is uh this is a little bit more okay. This is actually saying probably you should be at like 28.5 psi, so maybe that's not what's happening.
No, that's
One thing,
low.
yeah, another thing you can do is if you have the right wheels for it, you can actually go tubeless and put sealant in your tires. But that's you have to take it to the bike shop to do that because they have to set it up and it can cost some money. For a Walmart bike, I would say probably not worth doing that.
No, Walmart bikes are shit. I had a nice Swin. The one that was stolen from me was a nice. I don't know how they sold it to me. She sold it to me for $85, but I got home. I found out the price was supposed to be $200 something. I think she fudged it for my sake, and I appreciate that. But anyway, that was a big tires, sturdy. It was not a sorry ass Walmart bike like the rest of the Walmart bikes, but it was sold to me at Walmart.
Sure. Have you ever had a drop bar bike, or do you just do flat bars?
Just normal bars.
Normal bars? Okay. Because Walmart has a really popular bike right now it's about $250, but it's a Ozark trail bike that's a drop bar bike, and that's a lot of people are liking that bike. Yeah, as far as the big box store bikes.
Yeah,
That's
I
a
don't
popular
dare
bike.
take it back into the woods. I'll surely get a flat.
um
Maybe I've done that.
Yeah, well, it's not for taking in. This bike is actually a gravel bike. It's for going on a little bit rougher roads, but it's not for mountain biking.
No.
Yeah, but um, anyway, Do you have anything else you want to talk about?
Can I promote my song on Spotify?
Oh, sure. Actually, I was going to talk to you about that. So, like, it seems like your song's getting a lot of views. Is it for sale?
Oh yes,
Okay.
Amazon, iTunes, app. I went through CD Baby, so it's on 100 of those sites. It's on sites I don't even know the names of.
Oh, okay. Do you get any money from that?
Yeah, I got a pay point of $1,000 so far. It's at $48, but for each sale you get maybe a 1/50th of the penny for each sale.
Oh, for each sale?
Yeah,
And
you
what's the
gotta.
pay point? So I've never made a song. So what's the pay point of $1,000 mean? Well, I don't know.
Once I get
What is?
$1,000, CD Baby will mail transfer the money to my PayPal.
Oh, okay. And you've got $48 right now.
$48.68.
Okay, so you're almost there.
For I have a long way from $1,000.
So, how did you make that song, by the way?
Um, you want long story or the short story?
Either way.
I'll give it long. I came up with I came up with the song title by remembering an episode of the Real Ghostbusters cartoon I saw in September 1990, and in other words, one of the Ghostbusters comes out. Hey, you want to play some football? And Peter Venkman has got some headphones on. Nah, I'm listening. I'm doing a real man's thing. I'm listening to Fang Moskowitz. The punk rocker, yeah, anybody who can sing Baby Punch My Face in front of those fans is some kind of brave. So in the year 2000, I was singing about that. I'm like, saw this hearing a tune in my head, Baby Punch My Face, Punch My Face, Baby Punch My Face, I'm Punch My Face, I'm a basket case. And I knew I had better record that in my karaoke machine or I would forget it. So I'm so thankful I sung into the karaoke machine. It took 10 years to finally come up with some verses for the song. I found a local producer and we recorded the version. I call it the Momo Jumbo. This is because it sounds like a third generation recording, but it has some potential, but it sounds like shit. Finally, in 2022, I met this real producer from London. She wanted to give no-name artists a chance, so she only charged $500 for a job. But let me tell you something. Danielle Taylor was her name. She did $2,000 worth of work for $650. I say $650 because I used $150 through her to hire a guitarist to play the guitar. I think his name was Nick something, and she poured her heart into that song. She treated that song like it was her own song. She's like, Chris, we got this. I've seen your vocals, your lyrics. Now we need to discuss how we're going to change some of the lyrics. And at first I thought, I don't want to change the song, but I thought to myself, I've been trying it my way for over 10 years. What the hell have I got to lose? So we'll do it her way. And I'm like, okay, so we brainstormed, and finally I went into the recording studio and she put it all together, and damn, let me tell you something. She did a $2,000 job.
Okay.
And the reason
I did
with me now is because my fans on YouTube, the only fans I got on social media, made a video about her, making fun of her for charging so much money, and did an unflattering video, and she was really hurt. And I apologized to her, and I told her I did not ask them to do this. I'll make them take it down, but she was so hurt she can't work with me anymore.
Sure.
But I'd give anything to get her back. Right now I paid $2,000 for the next song I'm working on, and I still have to record the vocals. I had to find a place where I can record the vocals broadcast quality, because I went into the studio and he did it, and the vocals he recorded were shit. They sounded like they were compressed wrong and everything.
Oh yeah.
And my cousin's gonna come over, and you see this thing right here? We're gonna see if I can record them on this thing. Now, this is an 8-track. my friend in Los Angeles, the CEO of Taxi, gave this to me because he's like, you're an inspiration to me. So I figured we just give this to you.
Okay.
It was a $1,500 8-track record he just gave to me. Now, if I can figure out how to use it, if I can figure out if I can record my vocals onto that, I can record my vocals and send it to the producer in London and get this damn song done so I can put it on Spotify. The name of the song is "Boy in the City."
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. You know, oh sure. Yeah, yeah. I mean, you're a rapper, so that makes sense. So, have you ever thought about like trying to set up your own studio in your house?
There's no place to do it. You have to have a soundproof booth. I have nothing in here that can be soundproof. My room is a pigsty, and my mom. I'd wake up my mom and Edie with my singing.
Oh sure.
I don't know my ass from a hole in the ground. I have to go to college to learn how to do it.
Well, a lot of people just, you know, they watch YouTube videos and figure that stuff out too. For what that's worth. I just, you know, if you could do that without spending the $2,000, that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, I've already spent the $2,000 though. It's on the credit card.
Oh yeah.
Yep. But he's a good producer, but you know, Danielle Taylor, I want Danielle Taylor back because Danielle Taylor could do as good a job as he did. Then for $500, if I wanted to hire extra musicians, I could pay $150 for a bassist, $150 for guitars, whatever. Or she could do it all herself for $500. But if you want, but you just get an extra edge if you hire one musician, you know, to do one part. That way, they do real music instruments. It's not just synthesized or MIDI instruments.
Right. You know, have you looked into AI music generation?
Well, I don't want to do that route because I feel like it's cheating. I want to, and besides AI generated music, you can't copyright that. But AI today is not smart enough. Give it about 100 years, give it about 50 years, and AI will be able to be the next Beethoven. Right now, AI is kind of laughable.
Well, I would think I wouldn't mean like straight AI, but I would think like if you had the MIDI file that you could give that to an AI and have the AI do like the instrumentation of it, and it might sound pretty good if you could do that.
If I did that, I'd want to make up a tune in my head and do the tune, give it to AI, and have the AI make a guitar or bass based on my what I just came up with.
Sure. Well, I mean, that's what I was talking. Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
Here's a guitar riff I can hear in my mind. Jive rocket, jive rolling, hot flaming rock and roll fiery soul.
Yeah. Yeah, that I mean, I
can hear it in my head.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't have a great imagination for music. My sister does. She loves music, but for me, it's I'm not much of a music listener.
Maybe she could give me some ideas, and I could share ownership of the song with her.
Maybe, I don't know. She's pretty busy as a teacher.
Oh, so never mind.
All right. So, you seem to be focused a lot on R and Raw. What's that all about?
Clickbait. That's clickbait. I found whenever I use a picture of R and Raw and tag atheist community and center it around R and Ra, I can go from getting 20 to 30 views on my videos, which is really detestable, to 600, 300, 400, 1,000 views on the videos. And when the people see my videos, it starts to spark dialogue. And if I can spark dialogue, I can get something going and get on the map. It's a dishonest way, but I got to do what I got to do.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense.
My philosophy is, if you're on social media and you want to be famous and you're not getting, and by famous, I don't mean like Taylor Swift. I mean just like R&R. Ra. He's famous. He's hella famous. He's making good money off of YouTube. That's all I want. That's all I want.
Okay.
I haven't even got to be as big as R&R. Ra. I just want to be. I don't want to be a loser. I don't want to be a nameless face.
You want to have impact.
Yeah, I want to make a difference, preferably for the better. I want to be known. I want people to know that care and care that I breathe in this world.
Sure. Yeah, that's I think that's something all of us want. We all want to have.
I don't want to have to wait till I die to get that. I don't want fame posthumously. It's not going to be doing me a hill of shit good if I'm dead. Life is for the living, not the dying or the dead.
Sure. That's true. Can't argue with that one.
If you have something good to me to say, don't wait till I'm dead. It's not going to do me any rat's ass good if I'm dead. I can't be there to enjoy it.
Right. So do you think you'll go to heaven?
Yeah.
Okay.
Based on Jesus and his blood, forgive me my sin. And I'm going to have a lot to answer for. I'm going to be one of those that gets in as those saved by fire.
Right. But
I imagine it's not going to be a pretty sight. I mean, I imagine I got a real terror waiting for me when I die before I go through these gates.
You think so?
One thing even R&R Ra doesn't understand. He thinks all you got to do is believe, and no matter how bad you do, all you got to do is ask forgiveness, and you'll get. It's as if you had never happened, but your sin is washed away. But God's going to still, if you raped a 3-year-old girl and you're forgiven, you're going to still have to, relive the karma and see the harm you done and experience the grief. And I believe, in other words, like C.S. Lewis taught a sort of purgatory for Christians. If you lived a less than stellar Christian life before you were allowed into the pearly gates, God would have to burn the sin out of it. It's already been washed away by the blood of Jesus, but God now it's been washed away in God's mind. God's gonna burn it out of you.
Oh yeah, is that how that works?
Yeah, in God's mind, you're already seen as absolutely righteous, with no sin whatever. But now that God, it's in God's mind, but God's spirit has got to live in your spirit and make it true in your life, or make it true in your being, or it's not going to do you any good.
Huh? I didn't know that.
That's the difference between being forgiven of your sins and actually cleansed of the sins. Once you're forgiven, God's gonna do whatever He has to cleanse you. But if you don't go along with it, God can burn it out, and it's not gonna. God's fire is not something you want to experience.
Sure. So if you believe that's going to happen, why accumulate more of that happen to that you're going to have to go through?
And what Jesus say, "Where's your faith, Chris?" Because your unbelief. Because I'm also doubting. I believe it, but I'm also I'm every night asking, Lord Jesus, are you really real? I'm waiting for the answer, but I believe it. But as long as I that, and because I'm also a sinner, I'm selfish. I want my dreams, and that's it's basically because I'm a selfish individual. I'm a sinner and a selfish, so that's where it's my fault.
Okay. So, what's making you doubt? Is it just that you pray and you never hear back?
Not they've proven that there was no Exodus out of Egypt. They've proven Adam and Eve were based on early ancient myths. But I take the C.S. Lewis approach. He said the same thing, but he ultimately, when it got down to Jesus, by the time it was historically true, because that with Jesus, to me, there's an inner knowing. There's something that the Christianity seems to have something that not the relationship between a believer in the Hindu gods and their Hindu God. The relationship between Jesus and a true Christian, seems to go a little bit deeper. The relationship between a man and his Hindu God is because he, like Aaron Ra was talking about, that man who's the Egyptian cat goddess, and came to his room and gave him the hug. And after that, he believed in the Hindu goddess. But that was something that and the experience that happened with them. But Christianity is something that deep in your intuition, that you feel a, what you call it, urging, not just, but knowing hey, I got to get my sins forgiven, and it stays with you. That you try to go to bars and drink and do things that bring you pleasure to get this out of your mind, yet it never leaves you, and until you finally get saved. But the Hindu gods and the Mormon gods and all that, they never dog you like that to convert to their religion. You can forget about them and choose another religion easily. So that's why I keep believing in Jesus.
Okay.
Because there's something, there's an element that true Christianity that none of these other religions have. And I have some of these atheists have come so close, like Mithrians and Pelagia, but Aaron Ra's new birth experience, to me, it's laughable. Because he's like, how do I know this is really Jesus? And that preacher told him, just keep on telling yourself it's Jesus to believe it. But from what I've seen, what I'm seeing in my own life, when you make a connection with Jesus, it's something. It's like the man getting on the airplane, and he somehow knows, don't get on this airplane. Don't get on this airplane. But he tells himself, if I don't get on this airplane, I'm going to have to pay $1,000 to get another ticket home. Why? I want to get on this airplane. So he starts walking to the airplane, but the closer he gets to the airplane, the more stronger. Don't get on this airplane. Don't get on this airplane. So he finally relents, kicks himself. When he sees the plane take off, he kicks himself. I just made a big mistake. All of a sudden, the plane goes down 5 minutes later.
Okay. So that's how you feel Christianity is like?
Yeah, true Christianity. Not this Joel Osteen Christianity, the Paula White Christianity, not this Kenneth Copeland bullshit.
Okay.
Yeah, they're a joke. Kenneth Copeland, Paula White, Joel Osteen, and most of Christianity. I freely mock Christianity, not Jesus, but when I curse them, I don't want to, but I just sometimes when I see my thin hair, I just get so angry I can't stop myself. And the anger just comes from deep within and wells up, it burns. And you ever felt something that made you so mad you couldn't stand it? You felt you were so mad it's like it overwhelmed you. All you could think about was what was making you mad.
Yeah, I've felt anger like that.
That's how I feel when I see myself being pudgy, fat. When I see myself in a video and my thin hair is visible, and I get compound to anger when I think, if only I had money, I could solve this problem. This crisis could be solved. this tragedy, this calamity could be dealt with and fixed. Because to
Sure.
me, I call it a calamity. I call it a calamity, a crisis.
Sure. I don't think it. I mean, you know, I'm completely bald, so like,
Some
I think
people
you
don't
have.
mind. Some people don't mind. I had a doctor tell me, I'm bald. Look at me. Does it bother me? I wanted to ask him, but yeah, you're 71 years old. I was only 30 at that time.
Oh, I started going bald in high school.
Me too.
Well, at least you're not bald. I mean, you still got hair up there. I have
I
none.
take finasteride. I think that's the rest of it.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't regrow front. Unfortunately, it does not regrow hair up front. It regrows it in the back and top, but not in the front. That's why I
Huh.
need it in the front.
Okay. All right. Well, it's getting kind of late for me. I have a things to do in the morning, so I'm gonna need to jump off here. But it's been
Oh,
good talking to you.
you got promote my song.
Oh, sure. Go ahead.
Yeah, the name of it, on go to Spotify. It's Wild Man Chris. My song. I got 3 songs up there: "Baby Punch My Face," "Baby Punch My Face," the remix, and "War in the City," the Ear Juice remix. And I think I have it on Bandcamp. I'm not sure if I do. You can, if you pay $1 for it, my song on Bandcamp, I get more of the dollar. I get 50 cents as opposed to if you buy it on Amazon, where I get maybe 1/50th of 1 penny. But hey, those 1/50th of a penny add up. If 100,000 people buy my song, wow, that's that. Let me do the math. 1/50th of a penny. That's almost $500. And wow, 100,000 people could give me $500. Wow, that's a lot of money, cuz $500. Wow. And but before I go, can you give me the link so I can watch this video? And do you have the chat where I can go back and read the chat?
Yeah, hold on. Let me
I definitely want to read the chat, pro or con.
yeah, I think no one's really said anything since right after you came on. I was chatting with a friend of mine while we were waiting for you. Let me see if I can pull that.
And you'll keep this video on your YouTube and won't delete it?
Yeah, sure.
Good.
Let's see. Here we go.
Email it to me, please.
I'll send it in Discord.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for
It was nice. Yeah, it was nice talking to you, Chris.
You.
You take it easy.
I'll try my best. Bye.
Bye.